everybody for tuning in. Just want to be able to say thank you guys for following the channel, tuning into the channel too as well. But let's get to the nitty gritty of things. Shout out to Zack Martin, now getting money in his belt. We all know that we play football just not for the joy of the game, but to also provide the future. And with that being said, his future is well set. Zack Martin now is the highest, and I'm talking about the highest paid guard in the National Football League. I don't know the numbers yet, but they're projecting him to be the highest guard that's in the National Football League, and that's a plus, guys. For this guy to be able to elevate his family and also elevate the team. Another thing too as well that I want to chime in on is the fact that when you have a player that have the capability of a Zack Martin, so that you now can say to yourself on the right hand side that the opposition have something to worry about. I mean, continuity, poise is one thing, but now you have a staple piece that you know for sure for the next 5 to 6 years, you got somebody at cement, somebody that you know for sure is going to take over in that spot. And that's a blessing in its whole entirety all along. And if you look at it from this angle too as well, as far as insurance, when you look up the root word insurance, it's pretty much saying insuring your path. We all have to have insurance if we live in the United States. We have to have that in order to drive a vehicle. You have to have it if you want to have remunerations back for your housing, for your equipment outside, your property, things like that. That is what insurance is all about. And now we have paid all of our insurance up for this offensive line. And it's a remarkable thing. I really believe that with this thing now happening with Zack Martin and with the actual Cowboys organization, is going ahead and paying their guys way so that now in the future, you don't have to worry about that. It's like paying your premium up front because you got to pay it one way or another. So I'm so happy for Zack Martin. And I'm so happy for actual Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. These guys now have a place that they can know that on this side of the field of the ball, when the ball is run on this side, it's secure. They don't have to worry about nothing. Shout out to Chris Torres, the first person in the house in the mix, man. Hey, shout out to every notification squad out there. This is how you guys get a beat on when I shoot the videos. It's one of those things, guys. This guy will actually help the Dallas Cowboys organization farther than what we think. Being down there playing in the trenches, of course, we all know that you never get to shine the glory like you're supposed to. But when you are able to create and separate lanes like this, Ezekiel Elliott is going to have one hell of a year. We already know that. And Dak Prescott himself too as well. This thing finna get medieval, guys. I'm so proud of Zack Martin. Now, what this payment of money actually means to the organization. And like I said, I don't have the true numbers in front of me, but I'm quite sure it's going to be pretty much 35 or 30 million plus guaranteed. And it's going to be one of those things too as well, where as you can say, it's a good move. It is a dang good move. So with that being said, what this does for the team, it speaks volumes, meaning that if you do your time, you will get paid. And it also speaks volumes on this too as well. Whereas now you can pretty much say on that whole entire line, where's the glaring hole? Maybe you can probably say, hey, we need guys like Tyron Smith to be healthy. But no one else on that line now. Of course, we have a big placeholder on Connor Williams because we really have to see him in NFL against NFL talent. But his draft grade, the way he's playing, the way he's out there on the field speaks volumes to as well, saying that he is ready. We can do that. Hey, let me just give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat box. I'm live here on YouTube for those who are on the Facebook swirls and the Twitch and also other platforms that you may see this video on. I'm live on YouTube, so that's where I can see your comments. Rick, what's going on? He said, Law, what about the money being there? The defense, if they're good, it won't be there. Just like it wasn't there in 15 when we lost Murray and the linebacker starters. I mean, the money is here, Rick and Fedorock. Uh, Shout out to Rick, guys, and he's a long time subscriber. And I appreciate you guys putting down your thoughts and your opinions and your views out there. The money is here. We don't have to stretch too far for the money now. Now that we have everything set in stone, believe it or not, there should be more openings now as far as the money because now you can stretch the. It's weird how the NFL does. They are pretty much cap. I don't have a capologist. I don't have a statistician to break down all of the cap moves. But what it does when you sign somebody to a bigger contract, you can squeeze and you can put you can prorate the salary. You can put the guaranteed money up front, the signing bonus up front, and it can actually put more money into your pocket that you can use immediately. Now we do know that we have what $3 million extra granted given to us by Orlando Scandrick, which is a plus too as well. So now we have all this cash that's sitting aside. I don't know the raw numbers yet or how much money we have to aside, but we do have enough money now to sign one more good staple piece on this team, whether it be defensive offense. And hopefully this will create room. And I'm going to bring them up again, number 29 from the Seattle Seahawks. The Cowboys can't talk about it because they'll be pretty much conflict of interest or whatever, the ruling that they got. They can't speak on other players that's already signed with another team. So, with that being said, I can speak on it though. I can voice my opinion. I can put it out there saying that now they have enough money. They have enough money to go out and get a marquee, pretty much defensive player. Will it be a Earl Thomas, or will they play the safe route and go with a? I don't know if Trey Boston signed yet. I don't think they are going to touch Eric Reed with a 10-foot pole because of the political pressures that they have playing for the Dallas Cowboys, representing the silver and blue and putting that star on the side of your helmet. I don't think they're going to go that route, but they could. They can save a lot of money and get an Eric Reed or get a Trey Boston, but. We'll see. And then on top of that too as well, when you talk about renegotiating the contract of what Earl Thomas is looking for, um, I don't think that we will pay him 10 million. But if he really loved the star, if he really loved the silver and blue, and not just trying to talk us about so that he can get a bigger contract elsewhere or force and squeeze the Seattle Seahawks to pay him, I mean, he will come for us for at least 7 million, a year. Give him one of those good hometown discounts. But I think pride is on the line, and I think that players like to do a lot of talking. But when it's get time for money, the wife and the agent, they all have bigger mindsets of what they want to do with that money, and they rightfully so have that angle. Um, is it Jeff Perty? He said we overpay. No, we didn't overpay 6 years. I think that the Cowboys, when we talking about Zack Martin, undoubtedly, um, I think that with Zack Martin contract, what you can do is when it's 6 and 7 years like that, you can always renegotiate the contract or put money more on the top end or the back end of the contract. It's flexible, and with an offensive lineman, there's so many avenues and ways that you can go with stretching that contract out. Because 9 times out of 10, normally when you're inside of the guard play, you rarely get injured. So I'm gonna knock on some wood somewhere, and we get this thing going. My Cowboys family, don't expect Earl Thomas here this season. That's a good question too, as well. This is from my Cowboys family. You shouldn't expect Earl Thomas here this year. He's a free agent next year. That is quite possible too, as well. The thing is with Earl Thomas contract is a high end contract of what he wanting. I think he want north of what Eric Berry is getting, or he want equal what Eric Berry is getting. And trust me, as much as I love both of them, I don't think the Cowboys are going that route. But if you want a hometown get discount, then lo and behold, come on, brother. And this other thing too as well. When you're talking about that type of money too as well, and then you're talking about the aspect of him being a free agent next year, the only way you can jump the gun on that and say, hey, we got a 6 round pick, a 7 round pick that we can give you. since we already know that you guys are not signing him and he's not reporting to a training camp, mandatory training camp, let us take that contract off your hands and let us go ahead and give you a 6 or 7 round draft pick, and we'll wash your hands of those dealings there. And that happens sometimes, But will we go out and do that? I mean, the only foolishness looking now is on Seattle Seahawks. They could have really got rid of Earl Thomas last year, or during the draft, I meant to say, for a third or fourth round draft pick. But they wanted to hold it. So now this is the thing. The Seattle Seahawks are pressed back, got their backs against the wall there. They are in the corner. They're suffering on their defense because they really don't have a true leader of a guy with experience now outside of Cam Chancellor and outside of maybe somebody on that front four line. I'm missing somebody, KJ Wright or somebody like that. Or what's the other guy? Um, I forgot this other guy's name. I don't study the Seahawks that much, but the Legion of Boom is really pretty much starting all the way over. And they could have got something from nothing from that. But they wanted to be greedy. They wanted a first round draft pick. They wanted a second round draft pick. They wanted those high picks for Earl Thomas. And now he's going to end up leaving without them getting anything. So shame on them. All right, so over 30 million is guaranteed. It's been reported by John Sparks. This is for Zack Martin. 30 million guaranteed. Hey, when it's guaranteed like that, maybe we sign them up with a $6 or $7 million signing bonus. You see, so half of that guaranteed money. And now you're looking at, if it's let's say for instance we sign them up with an $8 million signing bonus. Now you have $22 million that we have to owe him before he's pretty much gone. But looking at the analytics of things, looking at the I guess the how can I put this? The way Zack Martin been playing for the last 3 years. Pro Bowl 3 times, 3 to 4 time Pro Bowler. I think he made All Pro every year that he played in the National Football League, and I think that they using those analytics, they using those pretty much skill sets of what he did in the past. And you basically NFL, you do get paid off past performance, but past performance does not equal current results and things like that. We understand that, but I'm thinking that since they're looking at what they did with the other offensive linemen, they're saying, okay, let's follow this trend. Let's go ahead and go with this. Let's give the man $30 million guarantee because to me personally, he's better than a TJ Lang. He's better than who's the other guys that got paid? Who's the other guys got paid? You guys know, I think a Gabe Jackson and a Marshall Yanda. He's better than those guys to me. And he's better than the guy that signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I forgot his name. Let me see if I can Google this man's name. I think it's Zeter or Kelvin. It's down in the description box. Go, guys. All the information is there. We well deserved. This is from Dayon Williams. Well deserved. Yes, he is. Norwell is from my Cowboy family. Yeah, Norwell. I think his salary cap. What if you look at the numbers, what Zack Martin did opposed to these other guys, as far as allowing sacks, allowing pressure, as far as running back usage, running back yards, how many yards the running back run on that side of the field, you would see that Zack Martin's up there, top five, top three. Maybe one can argue and say, if you're doing a top two chart, you see Zack Martin name in the mix. So Noel got a $65 million. My God, my Cowboy family with all the facts. Hey, $65 million, a lot of money. So Zack Martin contract is better than that one, or beyond that one. So see that money burning on the other side of the field over there on this camera. That's what we doing right now. We got money to burn with this, and rightfully so. He deserved to have his money to get burned. I know he's gonna celebrate. He's gonna celebrate this, guys. And if you guys watch the All of Nothing clips, if you saw, I will post a clip down below, the link to go to that clip. You guys saw Zack Martin and the offensive lineman. They all eat together. They all study and watch film together. They go out and they have a good time, whether it be bowling, whether it be shooting bow and arrows. That is what I like to see in that continuity, that bond, brotherhood. Hey, that's something that we all enjoy. Exact numbers not out of there. Yeah, yeah. John Spark, the exact number to Zack Martin contract is not there yet, but speculations are saying that it's going to be a little bit higher than what the other fellows just mentioned earlier. Um, what's up, Robert Armstrong? Shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining the channel. Thank you for following the channel and things of that nature too as well. Carolina Cowboy, Carolina in the house. Hey, we know we're gonna see you first week one, right? But he says if the Cowboys have money left over from Martin, why not go after Jonathan Hankins? Cowboys need more help on the defensive tackle than anything. Yes, I agree. I agree, Carolina Cowboy. But this is the thing. The way that Rob Marinelli runs his front four, he doesn't like that big fat club. And the way the Cowboys been drafting, the way they scout evaluations, ever since the last guy that we had a dominant guy like that, it's pretty much it was Russell Maryland. You know, that was many years ago. And one can argue and say, well, they try to do it with Brett. They try to do it with, and then I'm not saying that Jonathan Hankins. This is for all of the critics out there that like to nitpick. I'm not calling Jonathan Hankins a Russell Maryland. But what I'm saying is that we just don't value the defensive tackle, the guy that's up front, that can collapse the pocket, that guarantees two people on him, you know. So we don't value that, and I don't think that the Cowboys are going to go with that and going out and reaching and getting a guy, um, Jonathan Hankins. They just don't value that position. Bleed Blue, this is from Marquez. Yeah, what's going on? Appreciate you for joining in. Who else we have? Groovy 3000. What's going on, fam? Pretty much working so much. I've been missing the live stream shows. Glad they caught this one. Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining in. Well deserved. Martin has been a beast. This is from 614 Cowboys Nation. Yeah, 614. Martin been doing a I'm talking about a wonderful, solid job. I think that I look back on film, I think he only gave away, I say gave away, 2 sacks last year. And one can argue and say that the quarterback pretty much rolled into the wrong area on one play, and then I think that he kind of whiffed on a block on another. It was just like I think Vernon from the Cowboys, not Vernon from Cowboys, Vernon from the Giants. Olivier Vernon kind of did a little swim inside move, and I think that the poise and the continuity with Lyle Collins wasn't developing at that point, and Vernon was able to Olivier Vernon was able to get by Zack Martin to get the sack. But outside of that, you gotta. I said on the beginning of the video, you have assurance now, and assurance is pretty much like you said, like I said before, is guaranteed, guaranteeing stable foundation to your team, guaranteeing stable foundation infrastructure to your organization as far as an offensive lineman. Now that you have the emotional aspect together, you have the safety net as far as the player stability now, because he's getting paid for what he's working for. He should now sit back and say, now I want to push for this next contract. Now I want to push for this ring. Now I want to push for, legacy as far as HOF, Hall of Fame. You guys know what that is. So Robert Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence going to get paid next year. Yeah. So think about this. The more we wait, the higher premium we have to pay with DeMarcus Lawrence. The only thing that we can say to ourselves is DeMarcus Lawrence have an 8 sack career or 8 sacks, 8 sacks this season, will his price tag goes down. I don't know. It just depends. Now, if DeMarcus Lawrence go out and he have pretty much 18 sacks, now we really gonna have to reach down in our pocket. So, what number are you really looking for? Do you want him to go around 12 to 14 sacks, or do you want him to go to 18 to 20 sacks, or do you want to keep him at 8 sacks? You see, so regardless, we're gonna have to pay him. If it's 8 sacks, you still have to pay the man big money. And if it's 12 or 14 sacks, you still have to pay the man big money. But if it's 15, 16, 17, 18 sacks, you really gonna have to reach around into your pocket. Or you can do the New England Patriot way and say, hey, bye. Thank you for your services. We'll see if we can get a first round draft pick from you, put a tender on you, get a second round, first round, 2 firsts and a third, something like that. But we don't do that here at the organization of the Dallas Cowboys. We gonna figure out a way to keep the guys that's producing. That's just the bottom line. 16 sacks, Robert Armstrong. Wow, that would be nice, but you got to really pay him, or you gonna have to do the Patriot thing of getting rid of him for a draft pick, or trying to staple yourself up or save yourself up for some type of relief, which we traded him. Hopefully Heath Frazier, this is from my Cowboys family. He said, hopefully Heath Frazier and the DT spot gets settled. Jihad Ward, Dayton Jones might have to start for Malik Collins if he can get back in time. This is pretty much what he's saying. If with the Jihad Wars, Dayton Jones, these are not proven commodities, guys. These are guys that just pretty much we have to put the biggest question mark on those spots, on those positionings. And all we have to do now is just sit back and wait and see what's going to happen. All right, so who else we have? Carolina Cowboys. I say D-Law gets 10 to 12 sacks this season. As far as money wise, that's where you want DeMarcus Lawrence at. 10 to 12 sacks. And I do know there's somebody going to say, hey, wait a minute, what are you talking about, Law? Because if you got on the other side of the field, somebody else getting 10 to 12 sacks, now you have a great balanced defense on their front four. You're not saying, okay, this is the one dog that we have. So if DeMarcus Lawrence can get 10 to 12 sacks, and then on the other side of the field, you get maybe Taco Charters get 8 sacks, hopefully, and then maybe Randy Gregory, if he can get out there. He's a 10-sack guy as far as what it's been and what he can do out there on the field. If you can get that type of production out through those two, and you can sprinkle in a Belly Irving, because Belly Irving got to get his belly together. And if you get maybe 3 or 4 sacks from Jahai Ward, then that would be a good year too for him. And then did I mention, and I hate to be crass, not mentioning Tyrone Crawford. But if Tyrone Crawford can somehow get some production, maybe he can stay at his average of 4 to 5 sacks. That would be a plus too as well. That's a lot of sacks I'm throwing around. Do anybody have the raw number of how many sacks that we had last year collectively? Let me know. Put that in the chat box, please, if you can, so that I can really gauge about where we should be. And if anybody have the raw numbers of how many sacks the leading team in the NFL had last year too as well, put that in the chat box too as well, and that will help me out. So we had 66 sacks. That seems like a lot of sacks. Andrew Castillo, he said 36 sacks. That sounds about right. It's so that number's so low. 66 sacks is a lot, and I know for sure we didn't have that many. Guys, let me know, man. Help a brother out. What's going on? This is Chris Torres. This is what I'm saying about Gregory Law. Yeah, thumbs up. Tank, 14 sacks. Irvin, 12. Oh my God, that would be nice with those two. Defensive tackle, sacks total production will be 5. Right end, 7. I mean, backups 5 or more. That's around 40 plus in 2018 for trajectories. I mean, my Cowboys family, my God, that would be a good number for us. That would be a good number. We had 32 sacks. Think about that. This is from Du Bois 201. I'm going to take your word for it that we had 32 sacks. Okay, and Castillo coming in, John Sparks 32. So 32 is the number of 2017. All right, so that would be nice in a sense, but we probably have to get a sweet number around 45, to be a dominant defense, to be really flying out to the ball. Do you guys know of who was the leading team with sacks last year? How many? What was that raw number? Was it? It had to be around the 40s or 50s. Over 9,000 sacks from the Dallas defense. Laugh out loud. That would be just nightmarish, man, Marcos. And you can't even get that on Madden, right? Our secondary gonna make our line look good. Coverage sacks. When you're making your line look good, this is from Torres. And I like interacting with you guys because you bring in different thoughts, different views that I can put out there. Um, the thing is, if you can get your secondary to play aggressive, tight coverage, then you have what you call a coverage sack, meaning the quarterback is holding on to the ball. Yeah, total sacks, Dame, too cold, damn too cold, I think that's your name. But if you can so Pittsburgh had 56 sacks. That's good. That's a good number. That's where I'm shooting for, guys. I know they run out of a 3-4 defense and they have faster guys off the edge with your linebackers and things like that. But that's where I want us to be. 54-ish to 60 sacks if possible. Um, It can be possible, guys. And I do know we talk about Zack Martin as the head title, but let me go back to coverage sack. Coverage sack is when your DBs, everybody playing press up, covering, covering the opposition, not allowing the quarterback to find those tight window throws, and the quarterback hold on to the ball. And when a quarterback try to force things, this is what your coverage corners can do, or when your cover corners can actually cover out there and don't allow the opposition to get separation. It creates sacks, it creates fumbles because the quarterback is not holding on to the ball, and it creates what you call interceptions because they try to squeeze that ball into the middle. And if you have your safety over the top to come down and cream the wide receiver, the ball flies up in the air. It's no longer a tip drill. The ball is now in your hands. So with that being said, that's way that you can actually that pretty much is the philosophy of Rod Marinelli. Bend but don't break. I play off, and then I want you to force the ball into a certain area of the field. And the corners that can play tight man coverage, then I'll allow that quarterback, that corner to cover the receiver with his quote unquote man to man packages on defense. That's cool. But what we really want is we really want the different type of philosophy. We want our front four to fly out to the ball, stop the run first, and actually get to the quarterback when it's needed. And when we can do that, then they will squeeze and force the quarterback to throw balls into those tight window spaces. And now you have a 6'7", not 6'7", my God, a 6'2", 6'3" cornerback that's up into the face of the wide receiver who's physically bigger and stronger. And that's what Chris Richard method is. I want the front four to be nasty. I want my linebackers to cover well out in space because the ball had to come out within 3 to 4 seconds. 4 seconds is a lot of time, so within 1 to 2 seconds, the ball has to come out. But now that you're trying to squeeze that ball out, now you have a 6'2", 6'3" corner on your guy who's physically able to outmuscle you and get the ball. Basically, that's Chris Richard's teachings. Now, when you force the ball across the middle, you have trash in the middle, like the linebackers play, like the C.J. Wrights, and I keep on forgetting this other guy's name. Plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Lord, forgive me for keep forgetting this guy's name, but neither here nor there. You got linebackers that can fly out to the ball. All right, so calling the playmaker Uncle Tom. This is from Abdul Muhammad. I think you guys are talking about the T.O. versus Michael Irvin situation. Hey, it is what it is. I think that Michael Irvin is going to take the high road on this. Hopefully he is. Who is this? Q Mills. Shout out to you, man. Hey, and this is from Robert Armstrong. Yeah, 38 sacks in 2017. So we got to get to at least 48 and above. I want to see us get to at least, me personally, I want 55, 56 sacks, okay? Don't sleep on Randy Gregory on the opposite side of D Law. This is from Donovan. Hey, that will be nice, man, if he can stay off the weed. Bobby Wagner, that's his name. Thank you, Keyshawn. So you got CJ Wright, and Bobby Wagner, who is pretty much the black version of Sean Lee, and that's how they play their defense. Their linebackers flies onto the ball. Their linebackers also cover well out of space, and if needed, their linebackers sneak up and they will lay the wood down on the quarterback. So, with that being said, this is how Chris Richard like to play his scheme. So, not saying that Chris Richard, he is the passing game coordinator. If you guys look up the duties in the role and the task of being the passing game coordinator, that is his main duty. When the ball is in the air, he had to coach these guys up to get the ball out of the air into their hands. So that's how he's coaching his team. So I do know that Rob Marinelli, his voice, this is my honest God thought on Rob Marinelli. This is just my opinion, and this is my reasoning. This is Rob Marinelli's last year, whether we win the Super Bowl or whether or not we go just to the playoff or whether or not we don't make it, whatever. This is Rob Marinelli's last year to me. I think this is what's going on because I think that he mentioned retirement, and once you think of a thing, it becomes an actual thing. So I really think that he's pretty much saying, okay, these are my guys. These are their traits. These are their skill set. This is my philosophy, Chris. This is what I think that will help you out, learning the nuances of the players. And Chris Richard is writing notes, and he's saying, okay, I'm learning all that you can teach me. And I think that Chris Richard would actually take over as a defensive coordinator for this team next year. That's just my opinion. Not actual facts, guys. Just my opinion. Um, 6-year deal for Zack Martin, but numbers are being solidified. Now, this is from East Coast Enterprise LLC. You guys go follow their page. They're a limited liability corporation. They got a lot of insight as far as the East Coast. All right. Chris Richard for defensive coordinator. This is from D Boys 201. Yeah. Yeah, John, what's going on, man? John Sparks in the house. I would take a losing season this year. Oh, buddy, don't say that. Don't say that. I want to shoot for every win that I can. But he's saying that. Let me listen to your rationale on this. I'm gonna move my reader over so I can read everything. He said I would take a losing season this year if I knew we get Rashad as our coach for next year. We need a new head coach, and Chris Richard looks like the man. John Sparks. Um, my thing is, I never want to fall on the sword of losing. I never want to be the guy to say, "Hey, I'd rather for us to go 1-15 or 2 and whatever." I don't want to be that guy. I want us to go out there and compete every chance we can. Now, once we mathematically eliminated from the playoff, then we can probably entertain some of the craziness of pretty much tanking and stuff like that. But if we have a chance, it's like a prize fighter, man. You guys know those boxers that be fighting, and they say it's still not over. I don't know if you guys ever played that game that came out on Xbox years ago. I think it's just put the name down below, man. I didn't play it in so long, but it's a boxing game where even though you stun a little bit, and if you can just get that one punch out, if you catch him right in the kisser at the right time, you still can win that match. So if you still not mathematically eliminated from the playoff and you still have a chance, my thing is if we can go back and look at the 2000 and I want to say 7 Giants, the filthy Giants. They still won, guys. They was 9-7. Everybody thought that their coach was going to be fired at that point, but they figured out a way. They clawed and fought, and we was like pretty much Super Bowl favors of that year. I think we went 13-3. Tony Romo was lights out. Terrell Owens was just nasty that year. We had a good beast mode, our own beast mode. Brock, was it Marion Barbarian, and we had a little speed back on the other side. We was on the path of winning the Super Bowl. We got to the pretty much first round, whatever. We had a bye week. That's the whole year. We went to Cabo, and then we got off from Cabo, and you guys know what happened. The Giants snuck their way into the playoff, and he was still able to win it all with a fighting chance, with a puncher's chance. That's how I want my team. And I do know that Jason Garrett has the finish the fight slogan. But we already know, I already said this and I lamented this before. I want us to start the fight. Start the fight. I don't want us to finish. We're going to finish the fight, but I want us to also start the fight. And I think that with the philosophy, with everybody putting us out of the mix, everybody saying that we can't do this and we don't know how to do that, I still think that the players, in spite of whatever the coaching philosophy may be, I think that the players are tired of hearing this stuff, and I want them to go out this year and start the fight. Mono, e mono, man versus man. Swear it up, bow it up, and let's get out there and fight. Ezekiel Elliott got a point to prove. Everybody should have a point to prove this year. But Ezekiel Elliott should have the biggest chip on his shoulder, and he should go out there and make this thing happen. Now, with that being said, with Ezekiel Elliott, with the emergence of leadership of Ezekiel Elliott, we hear that throughout all the airways, right? We hear the leadership. We understand what the leadership of Dak Prescott is. Now, all the offensive linemen guys are paid. Connor Williams should be looking back saying that if all I have to do is sit in the mix or in the midst of all these greatness that's surrounding me, and if I can play the way that I play, yeah, Mike Tyson Punch Out, man. Shout out to Carolina Cowboys for that reference, man. Or Knockout Kings. That's what I'm really talking about. Knockout Kings. That's that boxing game. That game will go hard, right? But now the offensive line, everybody's getting paid. Connor Williams should look to his left, look to his right, and say, "Hey, I'm the next guy with this big money. I'm the next guy in the fray." It may be what 4 years from now, 4.5 years from now. That's a long time. That's a long time. So he should know and understand that if all I have to do is understand and learn this playbook to the best of my ability and whoop, you know what, and get out there and don't take no names, whoop, you know what, and don't take no names, then I can be the next guy. That's how I want this thing to happen. I want the philosophy. I really want the philosophy of Chris Richard talking about each one teach one. I want that to spill over to the offense. I want the each one teach one. Everybody should learn their mistakes. Although we do understand what T. Will did this offseason. And I digress. But everybody should learn their mistakes. Learn from Ezekiel Elliott mistakes and say, okay, I know that we are a target. We are a moving target in the National Football League, and I have to be clean. I have to play with a sober mind. I have to realize that everybody's out to get us. If we play with that type of mentality, we will get this thing going. Yes, indeedy. I believe it wholeheartedly, man. I really do. Um, Let me see if I can get this thing going here. Before let's get this thing going. I like this one right here. Really appreciate you guys, man, for tuning in. Hey, let me bump this music right quick, guys. There we go. All right. All right, so now I got that music in the mix. Yeah. All right, let me read a few more comments, man. Craig, incredible sounds machine. Bradley, everybody got something to prove on this team. Think about it. This from Craig, yeah. Craig, you're right. Everybody should have something to prove. Is ready. Hawk Rage, times 28. The bully, yeah, yeah. Love your vids. You're the best, D boys, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Shout out to you, man. Fight night, yeah. Fight night was one hell of a game. You always have a puncher's chance. You always should. Even when falling, still swinging. And if you land on your back, that's a good thing, because if you can look up, you can get up. Still try to stand up, try to stay firm, try to stay strong in what you believe in. Don't believe in the hype of what everybody says. And also do this too as well, although it's kind of like me speaking off the side of my neck when I say don't believe into the hype of what other people say, but use it as motivation. Let people talk to you. Take that in as your vitamin. That's what I have to say out here as far as this team. I will use the negative flows or the negative concept or the negative people that's out here that don't make videos, who like to be keyboard warriors, who like to follow every word that you say is the written word of the Bible, and I use what they put out there as my vitamin. I take that and I eat that and I say, okay, it makes me bigger and stronger. I need them. You know, you need your trolls in life. You need people to count you out, put you down, slap you down, and don't run to mama. Just stand up, face it like a man and say, okay, now we will be better at this. Now we're going to be stronger in this and all this good stuff. So that's what we really need in this organization, to have that type of mindset. Like I said before, if you fall, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up, guys. And this is the name of this team. We're going to stand up. We're going to rise. We're going to take that trophy back home to where it belongs. This is the Dallas Cowboys, the silver and blue, the starters on the side of the helmet that everybody want to fight, everybody want to put up against, and we're not running away. We want the best out there. We want to fight against the best. We're not folding up like cheap lawn chairs, right? So that's what we got to do. All right, so Eagles will win the division again this year. This is from Prince Neo 22. That's cool. You know, you can win the division. That's good. I want you guys to in certain fashion, because I still want us to be hungry, right? So if we can find a way to get in there, that's all we need. So winning division, that's a small goal, right? But winning the Super Bowl is everything. So if I'll take that any day. I'll take the Eagles winning the division. I'll take us sneaking in at wild card or what have you, and fighting our way through the top, through the bobbing and weaving, and still getting that one punch out, right? It would sting you guys even more, but it would be better for us down the line, right? You know, that's what we're rooting for. That's what we want. Yeah. All right. So, hell no, they won't. This is from Mitch. Remember, guys, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And I always use this analogy: the Eagles, the Raiders, the Redskins. I meant to say the Giants, and us. We still on top. You guys still have to bend your neck back to look up to see who's on top. And it's been a minute for us not having a Super Bowl. I can agree with that. Yeah, you won with that argument. But that long time, but that long stretch of it taking us so long, you still haven't caught up. It'll be years before you catch up with us. And that's facts. not opinions, you know. So let's go back. ESPN, this is from Kyle Banks. It says ESPN does not give the Cowboys a chance this season. Ooh, you guys know I love that. Matter of fact, you guys know that I love to fly under the radar. I like being a hit and miss out there because now we have our time to shine. And watch, the bandwagon folks, it's still open. The thing is with us, we understand. You guys like the lost child, the lost brethren, we'll still accept you with open arms, you know. But oh, how good and how sweet it is for the people that rode with us through the whole entire time, that didn't jump off the wagon, right? Yes, it's just even better, man, when you stay on it. You know what I mean? Eagles won a Super Bowl. However, their fans are still trash, and it's in capital letters. This is from Darnell Parker Jr. I mean, hey, he said it. I just read it, you know. So with that being said, keep telling them the truth. They can't handle the truth, brother. This is from Parker Jr. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I speak what I have in my mind, and those who have strong fingers, they type what they have in their thoughts about the Cowboys, and they don't get behind the camera because they know that they don't want to see me. You know what I mean? They don't want to debate me. They don't want to do a video and then have me to go back and forth with them on that. You know, but they can type. They got so strong hand motions that that their hands look like they got stomach muscles. You see, their fingertips got stomach muscles. So I let them do their deal. This is from Rick. Law, you like Blake Jarwin? I'm more of a Jeff Swain guy. I have to see a little bit more of Blake, you know, and hopefully when training camp comes around, Rick, that we will see a little bit more of him. Shout out to Rick, man. He's been following the channel for a long time, and I read your comments, Rick, and it's always a blessing, man, when you put out some information. He always have like some information where I can go to and look up for myself too as well, and I like that, you know. It's always a joyous time for me to read that information. Karen, what's going on? Preach, my friend. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm just trying to give you guys my raw thoughts. DJ Combs, man, I need this answer, Law. What are you talking about? Let me know. Law, how many points? I think I'm gonna go back. You says how many points you think the defense will allow game per game this Law? I know it's under 20, right? We know that. I think it's going to be pretty much around maybe 14 to 15, 16-ish points, you know. It's going to be around that number, believe it or not. John Sparks, man, thank you for the donation to help grow the nation, man. It's always a plus to help me elevate this particular channel and elevate my my equipment and things that I'm going to use towards the future. I really appreciate that, man. He says, thank you, Law, for this channel. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'm like a ship captain. I'm going down with the ship and I'm going down with my boys. This is from Mr. Sherman. Yes, that's what we want. We want everybody. Some people call it delusional, right, Mr. Sherman? But it's not. You're supposed to be with your team come hell and high water. And of course, you can have some criticism of your team, but it's kind of like this running an organization. I'm gonna give you guys some tips, okay? For those who don't know, some of you guys are already running your organization pretty fine, I may add. It's kind of like this right here. There's a philosophy called build, break, build. Let's say, for instance, you got a coworker that you were pretty much an employee that you pretty much have to grade their evaluations on, and they produce pretty well, and they always on time, but there's one little area that they need to critique on, or several areas. You don't say to that particular employee, hey, you garbage, you trash, you know what I mean? You don't lead off with that, you know? And let me just couple this with how you should be able to talk to said employee. You got that employee there, you really want them to improve on a certain aspect of their work or production. You can say, hey, I'm gonna just use your name. Hey, Mr. Sherman, you do a wonderful job of coming to work on time And I see that you met all your goals last year. But however, this is the build part. This is the build part of it. You tell them what they're doing great, and then you tell them, hey, however, I need for you to work on your analytics as it relates to computing those raw numbers into the system. And this is what you can do. This is the breakdown. This is what we need to you need for you to improve on. You need to be able to manage these particular funds better. And then you lead off with a positive aspect. But nevertheless, Mr. Sherman, we see that you are a team player and everybody's buying into what you are doing. But let's get this thing together, going in the right way. That employee will forever say, I'm going to work for law now. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to work for Karen, or I'm going to work for Mr. Sherman, or I'm going to work for D-Boys 201. That is how you talk to people. But you just don't go out there, oh, you're trash, Mr. Sherman. You're never on time. And also, you're not coagulating this particular process right. And you're not putting the books back on the shelf. You're horrible, blase, blase, blase. But then I'd like for you to come to work on time tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. I'm not saying that we should be soft in a sense, but we should be, as fans, smart and educated enough to know that if a player's within his second year, you shouldn't just say cast aspersions on that player and say this is what that player is going to be for the rest of his life. I know it. As a Cowboys true silver and blue player, you should be able to say to yourself and say, this is my quarterback come hell and high water. He's going to have to learn on his foot mechanics. He's going to have to work on his throwing motion. My God is ugly, but I'm going to tell you, I think that by him being a leader of men, I think that he's going to get pieces around him to perform on a higher level. And if we can get Ezekiel Elliott mind together, maybe if we can get him out of the clubs and we start focusing on those small things with our particular team, then we'll be better as fans, be better as humans, etc. And especially since his offensive line, a new philosophy, we got everybody paid. Everybody got money in their pockets now. It's going to be a wonderful year. Hey, who else we got before I roll? We got Benjamin McFadden. What do you think about LVE ankles injury law? I think the guy need to wear some spats, right? Double tape them things, man. It's one of those things, guys. LVE, I hate for him to be pegged as an injury prone guy. Once you get hit with that, you'll be forever labeled with that, right? This is my only hope. It is on my cry for help. I remember following the Giants training camp. There was this guy named Odell Beckham. He wore number 13 his rookie year. All through training camp, he had either a nagging this or a nagging that, hamstring issues and stuff like that. But his rookie year, when it was time to lace it up and put on the pads and everything, the guy looked like he never was injured. So hopefully, this is going back to 2014 when I was like, oh man, who this Odell Beckham guy is? I know it's another cross talk from a different team, but you got to study your opposition, right? The guy showed up and showed out. So basically, that's what I'm hoping with LV. We hear these little knickknacks with his neck. Boy got a big neck, big back. You hear those injuries, whisperers out there. Now all of a sudden his ankle, he's not able to practice and things like that. All I can say is I hope that when game time comes that he's ready to ball. That's all I can say. All right, so this is from East Coast Enterprise, LLC Law. Talk to us about Marquez White. I hear Chris Richard is really liking this kid. Oh, my God, my goodness. Marquez White, he's a real tall, physical cornerback who pretty much played physical when he played for Florida State. He was pretty much, when he was being recruited, this is the little thing. He was recruited along the classes of a Jalen Ramsey, believe it or not. So he was put in between those guys. I think that his skill set, he leaned more towards basketball opposed to football. And if anybody look at basketball shaped guys, they're more wiry. They're more smaller in frame. They don't need the physical strength like you have in a football per se. And then this football is a collision sport. So when you putting your body through that mix, I think that by him choosing to play basketball, it kind of messed his body up. But he always had the aggressive mindset. I think I still have his film production somewhere within my film sessions. You guys can just type in his name. I'll try to post that link down below too as well to save you guys time. But I really like his range, his length. If you watch the All or Nothing clips, he wore number 39 last year, and I saw him D'ing up or manning up Dez Bryant. And what that does, not saying that he was winning the battles, but what that does is that's him playing against a physical, tall receiver, an aggressive receiver off his release, and he was still able to jam the guy from what I saw off those small snippets of clips there. So my thing is, when we see he's going to be another guy that I'm really going to be looking for this offseason and seeing how many pounds he gained with his recovery speed. That you need that in a cornerback play. Recovery speed is pretty much very important out of this defense because you will be playing a lot of fake press man coverage, which you would pretty much ultimately do a trail technique, meaning that you will allow the opposition to get just a step ahead of you, and you will have the pretty much the safety over the top. So that's how Chris Richard plays his schemes, and pretty much so with a tall, rangy type of corner in a Marquez White. Now you have somebody who's not afraid to jam and to lock up the defense or opposition. I meant to say. Coming out of the stance. And what that does too as well, they give you a fraction of a time or a second to have the safety over the top to pretty much lower the boom. So I like that aspect of Marquez White. Hopefully we can see a little bit of something when they go out there to Oxnard. All right, so who we have? Jackie Smith, what's going on? She says, hello, Law Nation. How are you? I'm glad that Zack Martin deal is behind us. Now we need to focus on the task at hand, and that is winning the Super Bowl. Yes, that's it. I had to add a little bit of that into that, Jackie. Yeah, the task on the hand will be, first and foremost, to dominate, start the fight, and also finish the fight. Dominate, start the fight, or pretty much you can put those in different orders. Start the fight, dominate, and then finish the fight. You shouldn't start off with finishing the fight. You want to start the fight, dominate within the fight, and then finish it. You know how you guys know why Mortal Kombat was such a popular sport? At the end it says, finish him. You know what I mean? So you want to get to the point where you finish your opposition. And that's what Jimmy Johnson was great at. That's what Bill Belichick is good at. And that is what actually... the coach for the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll. He's not good at finishing the fight, right? You know, could have ran the ball in with Marshawn Lynch, so I'm not going to use him as an analogy. But that's what you want to do, guys. You want to finish him. You want to finish this fight after you done started the fight and dominated through the process. Who else we got in the mix, man? This is from East Coast Cowboy. Man, you dominating, man. Shout out to DJ Cobbs and Craig, incredible too as well. He says, how about them Cowboys? That's what I'm talking about. He said, Law, also I saw on NFL Network there are some possible trade rumors about Anthony Brown. Really? He said, really? I think that Anthony Brown deserved to have a sophomore slump. But now, is he the physical guy that I think Chris Richard is looking for? Maybe not. But who are we really going to trade for with him? You know, are we going to get our defensive tackle with that pick? Are we going to get a decent linebacker play with that guy? We'll see. I got Zack Martin jersey number 70. Yeah, get ready to wear it, Carlos. Get ready to wear it. And I like your last name, Warrior. I like that, man. Warrior mindset. Montana 808, Dallas Cowboys fan since 1993. Yay, Zach is signed. And I know Zeke is jumping out for joy too as well. Time to be bullies. Yes. This is from my guy, Hawk Rage Cowboys. Hawk Smash, man. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, bro? This is from Jasper Jones. Yeah, man. Salute to you, man. Law, what's up, bro? Honolulu Cowboys. This is what I'm talking about. We got people from all different area codes and time zones joining into the show. So with that being said, guys, just look at this clip I got in the back. You guys see Zack Martin clearing the way, open the holes up for the running back to just squirt up the field and get yards. Hey, that's what I like to see, guys. I feel there's a position strength that they need to be unlocked. Yeah. So with that being said, guys, that's all the time I have for today. I really thank you guys. Like I always say, it's always best to be seen and not viewed. For those who've been watching the channel from day one, salute to you guys. Thank you guys for the growth of the channel. Don't forget to like this channel. If you really want to be part of the notification squad, you really want to be in the mix when I shoot up my video, ring the bell down below. This is a YouTube centric channel, so if you want to be following the YouTube pages, just hit the like, subscribe button too as well. I do know this video may be on Facebook and other platforms, but it's a YouTube centric channel, Cowboy centric too as well. I really appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Don't forget, guys, that this year we have to stand up and be ready. It's time out for all of the mediocre football play. We really have to dominate. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna say this: we have to start the fight, dominate, and then finish the fight. That's what we gotta do, guys. And we just gotta. Don't help them up. Don't help them up. None of this stuff of helping persons up, people up. I want you to drop down on them, put the shoulder on them, put the elbow in between the spine. Do whatever you have to do. Let's make this thing nasty. All right, guys. So let's just jam out to the beat. And remember, you guys are listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace. Let's get on this thing going, baby.